Alrighty then. Let us continue our epic journey through the story of empathy with Chapter 6, Breaking the Ice. Riley let out another whoop of joy as she and Gogo shot between two cars and the young woman's motorcycle, horns blaring in their wake. The sound of the bike's roaring engine and the wind whipping past them filled Riley's ears as they sped along, the girl clutching Gogo's midsection tightly. As they reached a red light, Gogo hit the brakes, causing the motorcycle to skid to a stop at the traffic light. Setting her feet on the ground as her motorcycle rumbled impatiently, Gogo reached into her pocket and fished out her phone. She quickly glanced at it before sliding it back into her pocket. "You ready to head to our next destination?" Gogo questioned as she glanced over her shoulder at Riley. "Sure," Riley replied happily. "Where are we going?" "That would ruin the surprise, Fargo," Gogo answered with a chuckle as she turned to face forward again. Riley was about to press the young woman for an answer, but was cut off as the traffic light turned green, and Gogo gunned the engine, the motorcycle popping a wheelie as it shot down the street. The two rode in silence for a few minutes before they reached an area of San Francisco that Riley started to recognize. As they turned a corner, the sight of a large concrete arena came into view. As they approached it, Riley could read the words San Francisco Ice Rink written above the doors on the side of the building. "Hey," Riley said as Gogo pulled the motorcycle into a parking spot near one of the doors. "I've been here before." "Really?" Gogo commented with a smirk, putting her helmet off after killing the engine. "Fancy that." "What are we doing here?" Riley asked suspiciously as she pulled off her own helmet and followed Gogo towards the entrance. "Well, geez, Fargo, what do people usually do at an ice rink?" Gogo asked sarcastically, pulling open the door and allowing Riley to enter. Riley eyed the young woman suspiciously, but entered anyway. The two passed through the front lobby of the ice rink, Gogo nodding to the middle-aged man sitting behind the front desk as they went. Gogo?" Riley spoke up with a hesitant voice. "I don't have any skates." "Don't worry," Gogo dismissed with a lazy wave of her hand. "I've got you covered." The two walked into the ice rink, a large, high-ceilinged room with the ice in the center, surrounded by wood and plexiglass boards. The edges of the room were occupied by metal bleachers, while banners and game clocks hung on the walls. Other than Riley and Gogo, the rink seemed completely empty. "Gogo, why are we..." Riley began to say as she turned towards the young woman, only to trail off when she found her suddenly counting down on her fingers. "What are you..." "Surprise! Happy birthday!" A group of voices exclaimed as a whole group of Riley's friends and family jumped from their hiding spots behind the bleachers, cutting the girl off and causing her to jump in surprise. Looking around with wide eyes, Riley found her parents, Hiro, Tadashi, Tip, Honey, Wasabi, Fred, Lucy, and Cass all standing before her with big grins, most of them dressed in warm clothes to battle the cold temperature of the ice rink. "Oh my gosh!" Riley gasped, covering her mouth in surprise as she looked around. "What is this?" "It's a birthday party, duh," Gogo replied with amusement, causing Riley to turn back to her. "Surprise, by the way." "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Riley. Happy birthday to you." "You planned this?" Riley questioned. "Well, we all helped," Tip spoke up before playfully elbowing Hiro on the side. "It was Hiro's idea, though." "Really?" Riley asked as she spun around and beamed at Hiro. "Well, I guess a little," Hiro mumbled in reply, blushing as he ran a hand through his messy hair. Before he could say anything else, Riley ran up to him and pulled him into a hug, her momentum nearly knocking the boy over. Hiro stood awkwardly after catching himself, unsure of what to do before slowly returning the hug. "Thank you," Riley said as she pulled away. Blushing slightly, she tucked one of her purple strands of hair behind her ear. "Hey," Hiro replied with a shrug. "I didn't do this all by myself." "You're right," Riley agreed as she took a step back to address the gathered group. "Thank you all so much." "You're welcome, sweetie," Cass replied with a smile. "Besides, there's no point in thanking us yet," Fred spoke up. "After all, the party's just getting started." "We have cake and presents," Bill stated before grinning at his daughter. "But I think we know what you want to do first." "We brought you your skates and some winter clothes," Jill added, "if that's what you want to do." "You bet!" Riley exclaimed excitedly, earning laughs from the others. A few minutes later, Riley was dressed in her yellow jacket and had traded her shorts for a pair of blue jeans. After changing, Riley had pulled her hair back into a short ponytail, the purple streak contrasting sharply with her blonde hair on the left side of her head. As soon as she had finished tying her skates, Riley made her way onto the ice, expertly gliding across the rink's slick surface as soon as she stepped onto it. As she glided around the rink, Riley grinned as she watched the others join her. Tadashi and Honey were skating together, both dressed in long winter coats, navy blue and magenta respectively, grasping onto each other as they attempted to stay standing on unsteady feet. Wasabi, dressed in a light green jacket with a yellow scarf around his neck, was hugging the wall, grasping desperately to the edge as he fought to keep his feet underneath him. Fred, wearing a bright orange parka, had seemingly given up any pretense of staying on his feet, and had taken to sliding across the rink on his belly where room would allow him. Because, like me, a penguin is Fred's spirit animal. Riley's parents waved to her as they stepped easily onto the ice. Behind them, Cass was helping Lucy out onto the ice, only for the other woman to immediately lose her balance and send them both tumbling to the ice in a fit of giggles. "Heads up, Fargo!" Riley heard Gogo shout before the young woman shot past her, bopping the girl gently on the head as she passed. Blinking in surprise, Riley looked at Gogo as she passed, the young woman sticking her tongue out at the girl as she glided backwards away from her, her leather jacket zipped all the way up and a pair of simple blue earmuffs covering her ears. Taking the challenge, Riley grinned before racing after Gogo. Riley's skates cut across the ice as she chased after Gogo, the young woman quickly spinning around as the girl caught up to her. Together, the two began to race around the ink, pumping their legs faster and faster in an effort to gain an edge on one another, occasionally glancing at each other and grinning. As they sped around the rink, Riley was forced to weave around her mother and father before scooting between Tadashi and Honey, shouting an apology as she ducked under their clasped hands. At the same time, Gogo zoomed around Cass and Lucy, pressing herself near the boards as she squeezed past them. As the two girls skated, Fred suddenly came into view, obliviously sliding towards them on his back. "Fred!" Gogo shouted, causing the young man to look up, his eyes widening in shock as the two skaters came barreling towards him. With barely any time to react, Riley skidded to the side, causing her to lose her footing, sending her sliding across the ice on her bottom. At the same time, Gogo hopped into the air, just managing to clear Fred before landing on the ice again. "Watch it!" Gogo snapped angrily, glaring back at Fred as she glided forward. "Same to you!" Fred shouted in a panic as he pointed towards something in the direction Gogo was skating. Her brow furrowing in confusion, Gogo turned forward, just in time to find herself barreling towards Wasabi, whose attention was focused on his feet. Gogo let out a squawk of panic just in time for Wasabi to lift his head up and scream in fear before she crashed into him. The two students fell to the ice in a heap, Gogo's momentum sending them skidding across the rink's frozen surface. They eventually came to a stop a few feet from where they had started, with Wasabi flat on his back with his limbs splayed out around him, and Gogo draped perpendicularly across his chest. As the two came to a stop, Wasabi's head bumped gently against the boards. Yeah, there are some new words I'm going to find in this fanfic that I'm going to have a bit of a struggle reading, so if you don't mind, that'd be good. Ow! Wasabi groaned as he and Gogo lay on the ice. As soon as he spoke, a soft beeping noise could be heard, followed by the sound of something inflating. A second later, the noise cut out, replaced by the sound of squeaky, rubbery feet as Baymax came into view outside the rink. "Hi, Baymax!" Baymax paused at the boards before looking down, his head smushing against the plexiglass window as he did so. "Hello," Baymax said in his usual calm and polite tone as he gave a circular wave. "I am Baymax, your personal healthcare companion. I was alerted to the need for medical attention when you said the word, ow." "Hey, Baymax," Wasabi groaned as he looked up at the robot. "Didn't realize Tadashi brought you." "Well, I figured since most of us are pretty bad at this, there was a good chance one of us might get hurt," Tadashi explained as he skated up, Honey clinging to his arm. "It'd be a good test run for him." "My scans indicate that you have both suffered bruising to your shoulders and torsos," Baymax went on. "Ugh, you've got that right," Gogo replied as she pushed herself up into a kneeling position on the ice before patting Wasabi on the chest. "Didn't realize how solid you were." "Not solid enough," Wasabi groused as he sat up, leaning against the boards. "Are you guys okay?" Riley questioned as she skated up with the others, a worried look on her face. "On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your pain?" Baymax questioned as he displayed his pain chart on his chest. "I don't know, 4 maybe?" Wasabi answered before he noticed Gogo still kneeling next to him with her hand on his chest. Sorry, hiccups. "Seriously though, are you okay?" Gogo questioned, looking Wasabi directly in the eyes as she spoke. "Yeah," Wasabi replied, blushing as he averted his eyes from hers. "Come on, I'm a tough guy." "Right, sorry though," Gogo stated with a snort of amusement, before she glanced over her shoulder and shot a glare at Fred. "Somebody decided to do a belly flop on the ice, and I had to get out of the way." "Sorry," Fred replied sheepishly. As the others helped Wasabi to his feet, Bill skated up to Baymax, looking at the robot through the plexiglass window. "Can I answer any questions for you, sir?" Tadashi asked as he skated up next to Bill. "This yours?" Bill questioned as he indicated to Baymax, watching as the robot offered medical advice to Wasabi as his friends helped him stay steady on his skates. "Yeah, I built him at school," Tadashi answered with a smile. "This is an impressive piece of work," Bill stated, rubbing his chin as he looked the robot over. "You programmed him too?" "Yes, sir," Tadashi confirmed with a nod. "That must have taken you a while," Bill observed. "Baymax he's been years in the making," Tadashi answered with a smile. "I think your daughter said you work with robots?" "Exploration ones, and I'm more of management nowadays," Bill explained wistfully. "Been years since I built or programmed anything. Have to say, though, if this is any indication of what you can do, I'd kill to have you on my team." "Thank you, sir. That means a lot," Tadashi replied with a smile. "But I'm happy where I am, and I've never had a taste for exploration." "I figured you'd say something like that," Bill conceded with a laugh before turning his attention back towards Baymax, who was watching as the others helped Wasabi to make his way across the ice. "You've got something here with this robot. I'll be interested to see what you do with it." Tadashi's only answer was to smile proudly. As the others helped Wasabi off the ice, Riley found Tip and Hiro still standing by the entrance of the rink. Her friends were far more bundled up than Riley, not used to the cold as she was. Tip was especially bundled up, with a heavy green parka, thick black pants, purple wool gloves, and a matching hat that smooshed down her curly hair. Hiro, on the other hand, wore a dark blue jacket and black ski cap. "Aren't you guys coming out?" Riley questioned as she glided over to them. "I don't know," Tip replied hesitantly, her normal bravado having left her. "Did you see what happened to Wasabi?" Hiro questioned with a quirked eyebrow. "No, thank you." "Oh, come on," Riley groaned as she reached out and grabbed her friends by their wrists. "Don't be lame." Before either of them could argue, Riley pulled Tip and Hiro onto the ice, sending all three of them skidding across the slippery surface. surface, or service, I don't know. Riley easily regained her balance while Tip grabbed onto the wall for support. Hero, however, flung his arms about for a few moments before falling hard on his behind. "Are you okay?" Riley chuckled as she skated over to Hero's side. "Peachy," Hero groused back at her. "Here," Riley said, grinning as she held her hand out to Hero. "Let me help you." Hero hesitated for a moment, looking at the girl's offered hand, a nervous look crossing his face. Seeing the look, Riley looked away from him shyly as her face grew warm, though she continued to hold her hand out to him. After a moment, Hero found his nerve and reached out and took Riley's hand. Feeling Hero's warm skin against hers, Riley pulled Hero up, righting the boy who now stood inches away from her, so close their noses were practically touching. "You, Riley mumbled, averting her eyes again as she tucked a strand of loose hair behind her ear with her free hand, her other still clutched in Hero's grip. "You want me to teach you how to skate?" Hero replied, his face turning red as well. "Well, I don't know about him, but I'd certainly appreciate it," Tip said as she glided towards them, her arms pinwheeling as she struggled to stay on her feet. The comedic sight dispersed the awkward tension that had grown between Hero and Riley, who both laughed at their friend's antics. "Here," Riley said between giggles as she reached out and took Tip's hand with her free one. "I'll teach you both." Leading the way, Riley began to patiently teach her friends the basics of ice skating, both of their hands in hers as they slowly moved their way across the ice. "Hey," Hero said as a smile spread across his face. "I think I'm done." The rest died in Hero's throat as his legs shot out from underneath him, sending him falling to the ground and dragging the girls down with him. The trio sat stunned on the ice for a moment before Riley began giggling. Quickly, Tip and Hero joined in, so that all three of them were laughing as they sat on the ice. "I've missed this," Riley admitted as their laughter died down. "This is pretty fun," Tip admitted before a thought came to her. "Hey, why don't we play a game of hockey?" "Huh?" Riley questioned in surprise. "Really?" "Yeah, we could totally do it," Hero agreed. "They have a bunch of equipment here that we can rent and use." "Okay!" Riley agreed with a bright smile. "That sounds great!" "Hey, Tadashi!" Hero called over to his brother. "We're going to play a game of hockey. Are you guys in?" Tadashi glanced around at his friends, most of them nodding in agreement. "I think Wasabi is going to sit this one out, but other than that, we're in," Tadashi declared. "All right!" Hero said happily, standing up on wobbly feet. "You guys versus us!" I'm not good at math, but I'm pretty sure that would be 4-on-3, Fred pointed out. Glancing at his friends, Hero realized that Fred was right, and a pensive expression passed over their faces. After a moment, Riley's face lit up as a thought came to her. "Don't worry," Riley reassured them. "I have an idea." A few minutes later. "I'm not sure about this, Riley," Hero admitted, a hesitant expression on his features as he adjusted the hockey gloves he was wearing. "Come on, he'll be fine," Riley insisted as she played with the hockey stick in her hands. "I mean, Tadashi said he was programmed to learn, right?" "Yeah, but I don't think this was what he had in mind," Tip commented dubiously, her hat traded for a hockey helmet. Leaves. Baymax stood before them, covered in as many hockey pads as they could strap onto his rubbery body, covering most of his arms and upper torso, but leaving his lower torso bare. He stood on the ice in front of a hockey goal, no skates on his nub-like feet, and a goalie stick clutched in one hand. "I am not programmed for hockey," Baymax pointed out, blinking at them from behind the old-fashioned hockey mask he wore. "It's easy," Riley assured him, holding up a hockey puck for Baymax to see. "See this?" "Yes," Baymax answered. "All you have to do is make sure this doesn't get in there," Riley explained, indicating towards the goal behind Baymax. Baymax turned around to look at the goal, studied it for a moment, and then turned back around to look at the trio. "I understand," Baymax stated. "Okay, let's practice," Riley stated, putting the hockey puck on the ice and gently hitting it towards Baymax. The robot watched as the puck slid slowly across the ice, making no move towards it until it bumped against his foot. After a moment of studying the puck, Baymax looked at the hockey stick in his hand before reaching down and gently brushing the puck aside with it. Standing up straight, Baymax looked at the puck for a moment before turning his attention back to the three children. "Close enough," Riley stated with a shrug before turning around toward the others. "Ready!" Together, the three children skated over to the circle at the center of the rink, met by Tadashi, Honey, and Gogo, who were also dressed in various bits of hockey gear. Glancing past them, Riley could see Fred standing in front of the other goal, dancing around excitedly in a full set of goalie gear. "Alright, so how are we going to do this?" Tadashi questioned. "First to two?" Riley suggested with a shrug. "We usually did first to three back home, but I don't think you guys would want to go even that long." "Sounds good," Gogo replied with a nod before skating up to the center of the circle. "Alright, Fargo, you and me." Grinning, Riley nodded and skated over to face Gogo. "So how does this work?" Gogo asked. "I'll put the puck here," Riley explained as she placed the puck on the ice between them before placing her stick on one side of it. "And we put our sticks on either side of it. Then we touch our sticks together 3 times before we go for the puck." "Got it," Gogo replied with a nod, placing her stick on the opposite side of the puck from Riley. As the girls prepared themselves, the rest of the group crowded around them, tensing up as they prepared for the game to start. After taking a moment to ready themselves, Riley and Gogo began raising their sticks and tapping together over the puck. After they had done this 3 times, they both slammed their sticks to the ice and went for the puck. Gogo managed to knock the puck to the side, sending it towards where Honey and Tip were standing. Both went for the puck, but ended up losing their balance at the same time, the 2 girls laughing as they fell to the ice and the puck went skidding past them. As the puck bounced off the boards, Hiro wobbled his way over to it. Just as he reached it, though, Tadashi skated up and snagged it, using his longer reach to beat his brother to the puck. "Too slow, little brother," Tadashi declared with a laugh as he skated away from Hiro, the boy falling as he tried to turn around to give chase. Still laughing, Tadashi skated towards the goal, only to be caught off guard as Riley zipped in front of him. Easily taking the puck from Tadashi, Riley skated around him and sped away, leaving a stunned Tadashi watching her as he glided in the opposite direction. "Tip!" Riley shouted, catching the other girl's attention as she managed to push herself to her feet. As Tip turned towards Riley, the blonde hit the puck over to her, attempting to pass it. Before it could reach Tip, though, Gogo dashed in front of her, snatched the puck away, and sped towards the goal. Riley moved to intercept Gogo, but the older girl managed to skate around her before she took a shot on the goal, the puck sliding between Baymax's legs and into the net. Gogo let out a short cheer as Riley groaned and skated over to the goal. "I have failed in my appointed duty," Baymax stated as Riley skated up to him. "Don't worry, big guy," Riley said, patting Baymax on the stomach as she retrieved the puck from the goal. "You'll get it next time." Baymax watched Riley as she left with the puck before looking down and patting himself on the stomach in the same way she had. Gogo and Riley faced off again, only this time the girl managed to knock the puck between the young woman's legs before skating around her and retrieving it. Seeing Tadashi closing in on her, Riley passed it over to the open Hiro before dancing around the young man. Hiro managed to get control of the puck before taking a shot at the goal, but Fred proved fast enough to reach up and catch it. "Ha-ha! I got it!" Fred declared, holding his mitt above his head victoriously. "Give it here!" Gogo shouted as she began skating around the back of the goal. Nodding, Fred lowered his glove and dropped the puck into Gogo's path, the young woman snatching it up as she sped by. Oh, sorry. As Tip moved to try and stop Gogo, the young woman passed the puck over to Honey. After managing to stop the puck in front of her, Honey pulled back her stick to hit it, her tongue sticking out in concentration. Hitting the puck as hard as she could, Honey sent it flying through the air towards the goal, the extra momentum of her swing causing her to fall to the ice again. Baymax made no effort to stop the puck, merely watching it impassively as it slammed into his stomach. The puck pushed against Baymax's vinyl skin, the substance stretching inwards as the puck powered forward. Eventually, the puck's momentum was spent, and Baymax's stomach sprung back into place, sending the puck rocketing across the rink. Fred yelped as the puck shot at him and instinctively ducked out of the way, allowing the puck easy access to the net. Wow, that is what you call a balloon body. It kind of reminds me of Kung Fu Panda, with Po beating Tai Lung by using his stomach as a shield. The group sat in stunned silence as they looked over at the goal, Fred turning around to look at the puck lying on the ice before him. After a moment, Riley threw her hands above her head and let out a whoop of joy, causing her friends to join in as well. Turning towards Baymax, who was patting his stomach again, she let out another happy cry, prompting the robot to mimic her gesture as he lifted his hands above his head in celebration. "Alright, game point," Tadashi declared as the group met at the center of the rink. Gogo and Riley faced off for the last time, the young woman managing to take the puck away from the girl before passing it to Honey. Honey skated on unsteady feet towards the goal, before passing it over to Tadashi, but it was intercepted as Hiro dove in front of the puck. "Too slow, big brother!" Hiro laughed as he slid across the ice before clumsily swatting the puck over to Riley. Taking the puck, Riley began skating towards the goal, Tip racing alongside her. Seeing Gogo approach her, Riley passed the puck between the young woman's legs as he gracefully spun around her, recollecting the puck as she passed around the brunette, who looked back at the blonde with a stunned expression. Speeding towards the goal, Riley saw Fred preparing for her, dancing on his skates, ready to move at a moment's notice. Spying Tip coming at the goal from the side, Riley prepared to pass it to her, only for the girl to fall and begin sliding across the ice in a seated position. Riley hesitated for a moment before an idea struck her. Riley hit the puck over towards Tip as she slid across the ice. The girl let out a yelp of surprise as the puck struck her, ricocheting off her bottom towards the goal, sliding past Fred before he could react in time. Riley let out a cry of triumph as she glided around the goal, Fred looking behind him in shock. "That went in?" Tip exclaimed, looking behind her in surprise before throwing her hands in the air and whooping with joy. "Yeah! Butt shot!" Hiro stumbled over towards the girls, shouting in victory, only for Riley to crash into him, hugging the boy as they fell to the ice, quickly joined by Tip as she dogpiled on top of them. Riley lay on the ice, her arms wrapped around her friends, laughing louder than she had in weeks. Later, Riley sat on the bleachers next to Hiro and Tip as they ate some of her birthday cake, her open presents strewn out in front of her. "Your aunt makes the best cake, Hiro," Tip commented before stuffing another piece into her mouth. "She's the best baker I know," Hiro confirmed. "This has been so fun," Riley stated as she set her plate down, beaming at her friends. "Thank you both so much." "Hey, don't look at me," Tip replied with a grin as she nodded at Hiro. "Like I said before, this was his idea." "I mean, it wasn't all my idea," Hiro said, flushing with embarrassment as he ran a hand through his messy hair. "Tadashi suggested it partially so I could clear my head about my project." "Is something wrong with the microbots?" Riley questioned, a look of concern on her face. "I'm just having trouble figuring out the control scheme for them," Hiro explained. There's so many of them, you can't just use a controller like I do for Megabot. Even a standard computer wouldn't be good enough. I see, Riley replied, nodding in understanding. That does sound tough. I never realized it might be hard to get them to do what you were thinking. Hiro blinked in surprise. Say it again, Hiro requested, a pensive look on his face. I was just saying I didn't realize it would be hard to get the microbots to do what you were thinking, Riley repeated, looking at Hiro in confusion. Why? Hiro's eyes widened in realization as he took a sharp inhale of breath and dropped his plate onto the seat below him. Riley, you're a genius! Hiro exclaimed, grabbing hold of the girl's shoulders. You told me that before, Riley replied with a laugh, but I still don't know what I said. Hi, I'm just recording. I can control the microbots with my thoughts, Hiro declared with a laugh. Excuse me? Tip questioned, narrowing her eyes in confusion. There's tech now, for reading a person's brainwaves, Hiro explained, to tell you the basics of what a person is thinking. Okay, Riley replied with a nod, urging Hiro on. If I could take that tech and combine it with a transponder, I could... Hiro went on, before stopping as Riley let out an excited gasp. You can send your brainwaves to the microbots and tell them what to do, Riley exclaimed. Exactly, Hiro replied with a laugh. Wow, Tip said in amazement. Wow, that will be incredible. I can't wait to get started, Hiro grinned. You should get started on it, right away, Riley replied, practically bouncing in her seat. Right now, even. Riley, I can't work on it right now, Hiro stated with a beaming smile. We're at your birthday party. Right, Riley replied, her face flushing with embarrassment. Right, sorry. I got caught up in the moment. It's alright, Hiro said with amusement. I'm just going to throw these out, Riley mumbled, picking up her and Hiro's discarded plates. You don't have to do that, Hiro began to say, a look of concern on his face. No, Riley replied, giving him an awkward smile. It's okay. With that, Riley quickly stood up and made her way down the bleachers. Hiro watched her go before sighing and running a hand through his hair. Did I say something wrong? Hiro asked as he turned towards Tip. The girl merely shrugged and popped another piece of cake into her mouth. Why do I have to be so stupid? Riley quietly berated herself as she walked towards the trash can alongside the side of the bleachers. As she turned facing the corner, Riley froze mid-step, her face turning white in surprise. Directly in front of her, up against the bleachers, Tadashi and Honey were embracing one another, clearly kissing. Oh my! That is so cool! Riley stood stock still, her face turning a bright shade of red as her mind tried to decide what to do. Before Riley could do anything, though, the couple took notice of her, breaking apart with small noises of surprise. Riley! Tadashi said breathlessly. Pam and I were... I am so sorry, Riley said quickly, averting her eyes as her face turned completely red. So sorry. I'm just going to... It's alright, relax, Honey reassured her with a giggle as she walked over to Riley. It's fine. You didn't do anything wrong. You just surprised us, is all. I'm still really sorry, Riley continued, quickly tossing the plates in the trash. Are you guys dating? Tadashi smirked and scratched the back of his head while Honey smiled warmly at Riley. We are, they said at the same time, causing them both to chuckle. Then why... Riley began to say before rethinking the question. Is it a secret? No, not really, Tadashi answered with a shake of his head. This is just new for us, and we haven't really gotten around to telling people yet, Honey added. Oh, okay, Riley replied with a nod before a thought came to her. Honey, Could I talk to you about something? Of course, Honey replied with a beaming smile. This sounds like a girl talk sort of thing, Tadashi stated with a smirk as he began walking away. I'll go ahead and make myself scarce. Honey nodded to him, before walking with Riley over to the lowest seats of the bleachers and sitting next to her. One, they are so cute, and two, I'm really surprised that they didn't get that offended. If I accidentally walked into some people doing that, they could. I don't know what they think. They would be annoyed or mad. I don't know. What can I help you with? Honey questioned with a friendly smile. I just wanted to ask. I mean, obviously you must know. The thing is, Riley struggled with her words, her face growing red before she sighed in frustration and buried her head in her hands. What do you do when you like a boy? Aren't you a little young for this? Honey asked, quirking an eyebrow at Riley. I'm old enough, Riley snapped, shooting a weak glare at Honey as she pulled her hands away from her face. Okay, Honey replied with a chuckle, holding her hands up in a placating gesture that seemed to mollify Riley. I'm guessing you're not asking about being friends with a boy? Honey questioned, earning a nod from Riley as she pulled her hands away from her face. And I'm assuming this boy is Hilo. Riley looked up at Honey with wide eyes, her face turning a bright shade of scarlet, earning a shrug from Honey. Have you told him that you like him? Honey questioned. No, Riley replied with a shake of her head. I couldn't. What if he doesn't like me like that? What if he thought it was weird? Riley paused as a sad look crossed her face. What if he didn't want to be my friend anymore? Riley went on, her voice barely above a whisper. Well, that's a risk, certainly, Honey admitted with a nod. I was worried about the same thing when I developed feelings for Tadashi. But I don't think you'll have to worry about that. Why? Riley asked in confusion. Because I'm fairly certain that Hiro likes you too, Honey answered, smiling at Riley. Really? Riley questioned in surprise. I think so, Honey confirmed with a nod. After all, you don't plan something like this for a girl who you want to be just friends with. Riley didn't say anything for a moment, her cheeks coloring again as she thought over what Honey had said. How do I tell him? Riley asked. That's a tough one, Honey admitted with a sigh. There's no right way to do it. The only advice I have is that it might be better to show him rather than tell him. After all, actions speak louder than words. Riley mulled the young woman's words over in her head before smiling and nodding. Okay, Riley said as she pushed herself to her feet. Thank you so much for this, Riley. Honey, thank you so much for this, Honey. Don't worry about it, Honey replied with a smile of her own, standing up and following Riley as they made their way back to the group. I'm always willing to talk. Not long afterwards, the group began making their way into the darkening parking lot, preparing to go home as the party came to an end. As the group began to separate, Riley followed Gogo over to her motorcycle. So, pretty good party, huh? Gogo questioned as she fished out her keys. The best, Riley answered with a beaming smile. I wanted to say thank you. Why? Gogo asked, quirking an eyebrow at Riley as they reached her bike. Hero's the one who threw you the party. Go thank him. I will, Riley confirmed. But it's not the one who hung out with me all day. It's not like he twisted my arm, Fargo, Gogo replied. It was my pleasure. Gogo was caught off guard as Riley stepped forward and wrapped her arms around the young woman. Thank you, Riley whispered as she hugged Gogo tightly. Gogo blinked down at Riley in surprise for a moment before her face softened as she smiled. Reaching down, Gogo hugged Riley back, the two girls staying like that for a few quiet moments. "Happy birthday, Riley," Gogo said softly as she pulled back, reaching out and tucking one of the purple strands of hair behind the girl's ear. "Thanks, Yuri," Riley replied as the young woman grabbed her helmet and put it on. "Don't mention it," Gogo replied as she straddled her bike and turned on the engine. "See you around." Riley waved in reply as Gogo gunned the engine and zipped off into the night. Riley watched her for a moment before she began walking over to where her parents were. As she approached, Riley could see her parents' station wagon parked next to Cass's truck, everyone else having left for the night. As Riley drew closer, she could see her parents chatting with Cass and Lucy while Tip and Hero leaned against the front of the station wagon. Riley saw Tip look up at her, before punching Hero in the arm and looking at the girl and nodding in the girl's direction. Hero shot Tip a glare, to which Tip replied with a smirk, before the boy began making his way over to Riley. Hey," Hero greeted Riley awkwardly as he stopped in front of her, a couple of yards away from the parked cars. Can I talk to you for a second?" "Sure," Riley answered, suddenly feeling shy. "What's up?" Did you enjoy today?" Hero asked nervously. "Of course," Riley replied with a giggle. "It was great. Might have been the best ever." "That's great," Hero replied, sounding more excited than he had intended, quickly reining himself in as Riley giggled. "I mean, great. Really happy you enjoyed it." "Thank you so much for all of this, Hero," Riley stated before averting her eyes as she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. Why did you do this?" You're my friend, Riley," Hero answered, running a hand through his messy hair. "I know we've only known each other a couple of weeks. You're one of my closest friends. I wanted to do this to say thank you, I guess. There have been a couple of jams you've helped me out of, and I really appreciate it." "You would have been fine without my help," Riley argued. "Maybe," Hero answered with a shrug, "but I'm still glad to have had it." Riley blushed and smiled at Hero, bringing her eyes back up to meet his. At that moment, Hero was struck by how pretty she was. From her baby blue eyes to her dirty blonde hair with a new purple streak running through it to the way her smile seemed to light up a room. Even the way her cheeks reddened when she was nervous or embarrassed only seemed to make her prettier to him. "But yeah, Hero mumbled, tearing his eyes away from Riley as he tried to collect his thoughts. "The thing I really wanted to say..." "Yeah?" Riley urged, smiling hopefully at him, causing Hero to steal his resolve. "I like you, Riley," Hero stated, quietly but firmly. "I like you too," Riley replied softly, her smile growing. "No, I don't think you understand," Hero said with a nervous laugh. Before Hero could say anything more, Riley reached out and grabbed his hand before tugging him towards her. Hero stumbled a bit, catching himself only a few inches from Riley, allowing her to lean forward and kiss Hero on the cheek. Oh, that's so adorable. Oh my god. This chapter is so adorable. They're so freaking cute! Hero froze as he felt Riley's lips brush his skin, sending a jolt through his whole body. Then, just as quickly as she had started it, Riley pulled back, keeping Hero's hand clenched in hers between them. "I know," she whispered, her smile never fading even as her blush darkened. "I like you too." "Oh," Hero mumbled as realization struck him. "Okay." Riley snorted and was about to say something when her mother calling her name caught her attention. Looking up, she saw her mother waving her over to the car. "I gotta go," Riley said as she turned back to Hiro. "Talk to you tomorrow?" "Yeah," Hiro replied with a dumb nod. "Sure." "Great," she exclaimed before yanking Hiro forward again and hugging her. And actually the boy instinctively reciprocated. As they pulled apart, Riley left her hands on Hiro's shoulders, smiling shyly at him. After a moment's hesitation, she leaned forward and kissed him on the cheek again. "Night," she said as she left, releasing his hand before jogging over to the car. Hiro turned and watched her go, waving slightly as Jill bid him good night, though he couldn't help but notice the suspicious glare Bill shot at him as he started up the car.
Shut up! You were not team.
No,
you were on our side, didn't you?
No, I'm reading. I'm just recording a video at the moment. Yeah, see you soon. Yeah,
Your YouTube channel.
Yeah, pardon?
Can I say that on you?
No, I'm only recording the screen. I'm just recording a video. Maybe next time. Bye.
We're coming, please.
No, just let me finish this up, please. Let me finish this up. Maybe next time, okay? Bye. Sorry, fans, apparently. The look was quickly forgotten, though, as he saw a smile. Right. Yes! That's what I said! Okay, bye! Really sorry about that. I'm not gonna be able to edit that out. Stupid D recorder. Now, where was I? The look was quickly forgotten, though, as he saw Riley smiling at him as the car drove away. As he watched the car disappear into the night, Hiro reached up, and touched his cheek where Riley had kissed him. He stood there for a few long moments, his grin widening. He was snapped out of his thoughts when Cass hooked the tone of her truck and urged him over. Hiro jogged over, but the smile never left his face the whole ride home. Office note. Another fun, lengthy chapter. What can I say? I love writing these characters. Hope you all enjoyed it. Interesting things will be happening in next chapters, though I can almost guarantee it won't be what you all think it will be. As always, feedback and critiques are always welcome, so please review. Later. I don't really think I'll have much to say, because this is one of my favorite chapters in the entire fanfic, if not the very best. Even through having to read this while walking, for all the traffic, and for all the fans mobbing me, apparently, it's still really fun to do, and I'm really glad to do it. I've made up my mind about what I'll be doing. I've actually made up my mind about what I'll be doing. I'm going to go back to an old story that I did, which is elements of gaming. I'm going to be doing the chapter Rock Band, and then I'll be posting all the way to the end of that, concurrently with posting videos for Empathy. So I'll be doing 2 fanfics at the same time. One I'm still continuing, and one I'm going to be continuing from the point that I left it off about many months ago. So I hope you enjoy all the content that I'll be putting out soon. And as always, I'm the Masked Ranger saying, keep moving forward, don't give up, and have a great life. And Riley, happy birthday. Lastly, Finmonster, never stop doing what you're doing, and thank you so much for writing this amazing story. Once again, keep moving forward, and thank you so much. Bye.